Hey guys, most of you or many of you will know me. My name is Ryan Phelps, and whether you know it or not, I began my ministry and my ministry career at First Church of Christ in Covington way back in the early 2000s. Joey got a hold of me and he says, hey, we're celebrating 120 years, and that's 120 years, guys, of God's faithfulness in a community and at a church like First Church of Christ. And he asked specifically, as he's asking many people, what was one characteristic that you saw God display in your time at First Church of Christ? And I got to thinking, and immediately things started popping in my mind. And I'm sorry, Joey, I'm sorry, guys, but you can't just limit me to one thing, one attribute or one characteristic of God. I would say, by and large, the thing that sticks out to me about the people of First Church of Christ and how I saw God working was the generosity, was the love, and the support and the encouragement. Again, like I told you, I was just a young buck when I came to First Church of Christ. I was 22, 23 years old, and I think back all of these years later, and that a church gave me the opportunity to minister to their kids and their teens, and really the church as a whole, is honestly sort of laughable to me. But at the same time, it makes perfect sense because I feel like that's exactly who God is. That as feeble and as frail and as flawed as we are as people and followers of Christ, He continues to just bear with us. And there's so many parts of Scripture that talk about God's forbearance or His patience or His love and His long suffering. That's Old Testament, that's New Testament, that's entire Bible that talks about that. And I really felt like, there were a lot of things that I did in my time. I loved my time at Covington. And there were things that I did that I know that I was just young and I was stupid and I did dumb things. But you guys and those who were there when I was there were just always so loving and so faithful to me and so supportive and so encouraging. And I'm convinced that nothing has changed from the early 2000s to now, that you guys are still the same people. And that's really, guys, because I know your hearts, I know the kind of church you are, and that's the God that you serve. That's who He is, that He is always about giving us that next chance, that next opportunity. And so my encouragement to you guys is just continue to do that, to continue to love on the community of Covington, to give those things, to be generous, to be faithful, to be supportive, and to be encouraging to that community that God has placed you in for a specific purpose at a specific time. And so I would leave you with no other words but just to say, stay faithful, guys. Stay faithful for another 20, 30, 40, 100, and another 120 years if that's what God gives us on this earth. And that you show up one day as individuals and as a church and as a body of believers, and God will say, well done, good and faithful servant.